I'm sitting here with Clifford Edward Smith of Muscogee First Nation. He's going to share with us the history of his family and some of the history of Muscogee as he remembers it. So, can you tell me a little bit about your family, who your mom and dad were, and your grandparents and great grandparents?
See, my mother and father were Mary Ann Cecile Smith and Douglas Harvey Smith. Their, my dad's parents were Kate and Daniel Smith. I don't know who their parents were. And I didn't really know my grandfather because he passed away before I was born. So all I knew was my grandmother. On my mother's side, her dad was Joseph Smallboy, and her mother's name was Angeline. Yeah, she was a Métis woman from around Green Lake. She had red hair.
Wow.
She looked white.
Yep.
I don't know how my grandpa scored her. The old trapper guy in the bush. And that's where my mom came from. They had nothing but girls in that family.
Mm.
I think 7 of them. My mom was the youngest. And that's all I know from that side.
And where did that part of your family originate from?
Whitefish.
Whitefish?
Yeah.
So on your dad's side, from Muscogee, right?
Yep.
So can you tell me who your siblings were? Are?
Oh, my oldest brother is Ronald Harvey Smith. Then Willard William Smith. My deceased brother Calvin Douglas Smith. My deceased sister Victoria Ann Smith. My deceased sister Mabel Burke. She got married. My deceased brother Richard Jerry Smith. My deceased sister Leona Smith. I don't know her middle name. I was pretty small when she died. I don't know if she was older than me or I was older than her. I think she was older than me. Who else? I think that's it.
Hmm. So can you tell me about your children?
My children. I got married when I was 18 to Hilda Dolores Bell. We had a son named Christopher Andrew Robert Smith. But later on he changed his name to his mother's name, Bell. The only reason why I got married then was, we were having a baby and I thought it was the right thing to do. I was too young though, and so was she. And so that divorce just went easy.
Yep.
That's my oldest son. Who's next? I married my wife, Tina. Oh, jeez. I can't even remember the year I met her. She was only 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, she already had Gerald. I call him my son because he's always been there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first met him, he didn't even know how to walk or talk or nothing. He was just a baby. He was
Aww.
like 6 months, not even 6 months. And then there's my son. We had Edward Clifford Tate. His last name is Tate because he was born before we got married. Then I gave him the choice when he got to be 18 whether he wanted to be a Smith or a Tate. And he chose Tate. So that was okay with me. Then we had Tyler, my daughter Tyler. Tyler Nicole Smith. And right after her was my son Chance Hayden Smith. Yep, that's all my kids.
Do you have any grandkids?
I got like 13 of them.
Nice.
I can't remember them all.
No?
No. Like my son Chris had 4. I met them all, but I don't know their names.
Yeah.
I rarely get to see them, so. And they live all over. Some in BC,
Mm-hmm.
all over. Gerald's kids I get to see. He has a boy and a girl. I forget what her daughter's name is. A Cree name anyway is pretty cool. I think it means pretty girl or something in Cree.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that's what they named her. And I forget their boy's name. Boy, I can't think of it. I know them all, but I can't think of their names.
Maybe it's the camera.
Probably. Just like my kids too. I know all their birthdays, but I don't know how old they are. I have to ask them, well, so how old are you now? You know? Gerald has 2. Eddie has 2 girls. I think he's gonna have nothing but girls, that guy.
Ah.
And Chance has supposedly 3, maybe 4. 2 we're not sure about. Well, I'm not sure about.
Right.
He says they're his, but
Yeah.
altogether I got 13 grandchildren.
Nice. It's very rich to have lots of kids. So maybe they'll see this video when sometime down the road.
Oh, I forgot about Manny
Oh yeah. Aaliyah?
and Aaliyah.
So tell
Sorry.
me tell me where Manny and Aaliyah come from.
Aaliyah is my sister-in-law's daughter. After her dad passed away, her mom couldn't keep it together, so we raised her. Yeah, she was like close to 1, I think, when she came to live with us. And yeah, she's mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Manny, my sister had a daughter named Lisa, and she had a kid named Emmanuel Tristan Lee Smith, Abbott.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the school had Abbott/Smith, so I don't know which is which.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had him ever since he was like 6 months old. Yeah, he's mine too.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They stick close to home.
Well, they're living. Everybody moved away except for my daughter Ty.
Yeah.
So we had some trouble here on the res, so it wasn't too safe for Nanny to stay with me. So I arranged for my daughter Aaliyah to watch him. He goes to school in town now, but he wants to move home, so he might move home in September.
That's good. That's good. He probably misses being out here because
Yeah,
it's where he's
misses-
always been.
Misses all his friends and his old teachers and everything.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
think it's safe for him to come back.
Yeah. So now switching gears here, now that we know about your family history. But also would you like to tell me for the record about your aunts and uncles on both sides?
I can't remember all my aunts' names on my mother's side. There was Delma, Alice, Josephine. Geez, I know it started with a P, but it's a really weird name for a girl.
Like a Philomene, maybe, or
Something like
something?
that, yeah.
Or Penelope, or Philomene. I don't know.
Her mom was like half French, so it was kind of sounded like a French kind of name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there was Margaret. Oh yeah, I remember my Aunt Margaret. All of them women they abused alcohol,
Yeah.
my mom included. Yeah, so we didn't get to see too much of that. Just kind of met them and then they disappeared.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, let's see, there's my Uncle Wallace Smith. I don't know their middle names. There's George Smith. There's Harold Smith. There was an Edward Smith, but he passed away before I was born. I think I was named after him. And my Aunt Evelyn Constance. Anybody else? I don't think so.
Auntie Mabel.
Oh yeah, my Aunt Mabel.
Yeah.
That was older. She was one of the oldest ones, I think. She was up there.
Yeah.
She was strict. I remember her.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. So, what do you remember as a child on Muscadet when you lived here?
When I lived here, I remember there was no running water. We had to hire this old man named Joe Smith. He had a old wagon and a couple of old horses. He'd always go down to the river and get us water in a barrel.
Yeah.
That's how we got our water in the summertime. In the wintertime, we froze snow. That's how we got our water. To take a bath, we had to go down to the river. But that was it. Everybody liked going down to the river. It was fun. There was no plumbing. We had outhouses. Had to chop wood. We had a wood burning stove that we used for cooking and heating the house. Our house only had 2 rooms, and there was 9 of us in there. Yeah. On the reserve, I remember there was only like 5 cars on the whole reserve. And what I remember of these cars, they had, the newer ones had the big fins, just like the old 50 Batman cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the older ones had them big bubble fenders, like 1930 gangster cars.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but I think only like 5 families had cars out here. And what did we do? We went fishing, hunting. Yeah,
So did you whereabouts on the reserve did you guys live?
we lived on the west side of the river, up towards Scamps, I guess, Scamps Hill. The hill that we call Scamps Hill. I don't even know his real name. All I knew was Scampy. Old man living up in the bush up on top of the hill.
Yeah. So did you guys live in that blue and white house that was Granny's house?
No,
Or you guys had your own house?
we had our own house about maybe 200 yards away from my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Right next door. On the White House. And then there's my grandma's house. I remember when I was really young, we had a great big barn right in front of her house. was always filled with chickens. Boy, I hated them stupid chickens, man. They always used to freak me out, and my grandma always used to save me with her little stick, just fighting them all.
She told me about your grandma.
I remember her being really kind, and she always tried to talk to me in Cree. I just couldn't get it. She'd get upset with me, but she made the best bannock that I ever had. She was always, always playing solitaire, always rolling cigarettes. But every time I went over there, she'd let me almost do whatever I wanted. It was pretty good.
Did you all go over, or just some, or did everybody congregate to Granny's house, or what was
No.
the story?
It was just usually me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if my other brothers and sisters were bad over there or whatever. Well, Ron burnt her house down once.
Holy.
I don't know how he was playing with fire or something. I don't know. Burnt her house down anyway.
Jeez.
I think that's when Ron got taken away because he burnt down that house.
Yeah.
He probably thought he was a firebug, something.
Yeah.
That's when I remember he went to go live with some white people, but I don't know where. They come and got him at our place.
How long was he gone for?
It seemed like a long time, but I don't know, as a kid, everything seems like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite childhood memory?
I remember one time, and only one time, my dad used to, well, all his life he was an alcoholic, and he used to beat on my mother when he was drunk, and that happened all the time. But this one time I can remember, they weren't drunk, and we had food, and my mother packed up some food and we went down to the river, and it was so shallow that everybody walked across, but I was too small yet. I would have floated down the river, and both my mom and dad walked me across to the sandbar like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And we went to the sandbar, pigged out, and that was the happiest time.
Was that the happiest time you remember?
Yeah.
Nice.
And after that, everything went.
It was probably due to residential schools and stuff like that, eh? Did Uncle Doug go to residential school?
No.
No? Hmm. But
My
of course...
mother did.
Oh, okay.
Like, after my mother was born, not very long after, like a month or so, I think, my grandmother died. So my mom didn't even get to know her mother.
Yeah.
And nuns looked after her ever since she was a baby until she was 16. So she was in the residence that long.
Yeah. Wow.
It's funny though that she could, oh yeah, she couldn't speak Cree, but she could understand it.
Yeah.
Like anybody can talk to her in Cree and she'd understand them, but she couldn't speak it. And my dad, he knew how to speak Cree.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if we stayed at home, we'd be able to speak Cree. And if I knew how to speak Cree, I would have taught my kids.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to think they know more than me now, you know.
Well, I remember a couple of memories with Granny. She wouldn't speak English at all. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd always try to speak Creek to me all the time. Even her brother Willie.
Yeah.
He lived pretty close to her too. Was his name Willard Smith?
I think it's Willingdon. Something.
All I remember of him is a big fat old man with completely white hair.
Yeah.
And Granny would always make me go take him panic all the time. And I'd have to sit down there and listen to him talk. What we talked about, I don't know. I think I was just thinking, well, how do I get out of here? Yeah.
So when times were good with your dad, I heard he was a hunter on Muscadet.
Yeah,
For most of his life, he's one of the best hunters, actually.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. And every time we had too much, he'd go give it to people that didn't have anything. I guess everybody used to do that. When somebody shot something, they'd go give some family like a leg or something.
Yeah. Going on to my next question, how did families help each other and treat each other back when you were young?
When I was young, people visited. They went to each other's houses, they played cards, they bored stuff off of each other. Like I said, if somebody shot something like a moose or something, they'd cut it up and give it to families that didn't have hardly anything.
Yeah.
Everybody helped each other when I was young. It seemed simple, but it was good. It was good. Everybody said hello to everybody, If you were bad, any parent would kick your ass, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it was.
And the other parents would accept that, eh?
Yep.
Like, you see my child acting up, then correct them, right?
Yep. Yeah. There was no bully parents. Everybody knew, just like everybody treated kids like their own.
Yeah.
Like if you did bad, then you'd get it.
Yeah.
But if you did good, they'd tell you you did good too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It seemed like everybody was a lot closer back then. Everything was a lot more personal back then, because if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to go to their house. There was no phones out here. I think the only phone was at the band office, and it was a pay phone. I remember calls back then were a nickel.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Yeah, but nobody visits no more.
Yeah.
And when somebody did good on the res for themselves, people were proud to say, yeah, he's from Muscadet, But nowadays it seems like when you do good, people are jealous of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't compliment somebody that's doing good. They feel like they got it through, family or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Seems like the morals of morals and values of beforehand have severely changed to now. How drastic that is? Seems like everybody's just mad, eh?
It's this world. I think too much technology is too much information is what they say. Too much information.
Yeah.
It's not good. There's some stupid people out there that shouldn't have this kind of information.
Yeah. So throughout your life, what kind of jobs did you have?
Oh my God. mostly laborer jobs because I should have stayed in school, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just see. I worked in the graveyard, fixing tombstones. I washed dishes. I picked rocks. I picked corn. I hoed sugar beets. I don't know how many bars I worked in.
Yeah.
I painted houses. I worked as a gas attendant. I can't even remember all the stuff I did. I managed a store in Saskatoon. I drove heavy equipment. Then I stayed at the school for about close to 18 years.
Yeah.
I was a janitor and I took care of the boiler system. Didn't work out there, so I went back to painting houses. I like painting houses.
Yeah.
At least you get to see what's you've done in a day.
Yeah.
You can make an ugly house look real nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
I remember one time for the school that they had got you to take the kids out to snare rabbits in the bush around the elders' lodge here.
Well,
I think you did that once, eh?
I was going to.
Oh, okay.
They called me in and said, "Do you know how to snare rabbits?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad used to snare rabbits all the time. Like I said, he was an alcoholic and he barely bought food for himself. So he had to go fishing, he had to go snaring rabbits.
Yeah.
And when he had both his arms, he still used to hunt.
Yeah. He's a pretty good shot, eh?
Yeah, he was. He taught me how to shoot these.
Hmm.
I usually hit what I aim at.
Yeah. So back then, do you know if there's any medicine people around that you know of?
No.
No?
Like, I guess everybody had their own little remedies of medicine.
Yeah.
I got burnt by an iron one time, and my grandmother, what it looked like to me, it was lard. She
Yeah.
put it all over that burn, and then she put salt on it. And
Yeah.
she said, "Don't touch it, just leave it." I don't know why she did that, but yeah, that's how she treated my burn. It was a pretty big burn too, but I don't even have a scar from that burn.
Did it take away the pain?
No, she did. She babied me up.
Oh.
Got me peanut butter, jam, panic, and everything. Even let me drink tea.
Oh my.
Yeah. She was very hard.
She's probably one of the bigger influences in your life, eh?
Yeah. My first influence was her. Everybody else I was scared of. She was nice. First kind person I met was her.
Such a nice memory. So, switching gears. What do you remember about going to school on Muscadet, and when did you begin going to school off reserve?
I went to the school at the kindergarten across the river. First I went to nursery, and then kindergarten. And after that, we were bused to Birch Hills. I went to school there for grade 1, 2, and 3. And then, where did I go to school? In Prince Albert. When I went to school in Birch Hills, I was already in the foster home. Well, all my nursery, kindergarten, I was in the foster home already.
Yeah.
And from the foster home, I went to residential school. And that's when I went to school in Prince Albert. And the only school I went there, when I was in the Prince Albert student residence, I went to Queen Mary for grade 4. Then they decided that it was called John Smith back then, John Smith Reserve. And they decided John Smith wasn't part of the Prince Albert district. They were part of the Saskatoon district. So I couldn't go to that residence no more. I had to go to Duck Lake student residence.
Yeah.
So that lasted for 4 years. I think I was 14 when I got out of there. And then foster homes again. I don't know how many. They couldn't find where to put me. I ended up in Meath Park. I lived on the farm there for 2 years. That took me to grade 9. And I came home when I was 15. I got to live with my Aunt Evelyn. I went to school at Riverside. And then I moved back home with my mother and I went to school at Carleton. I didn't finish high school because 2 of my brothers committed suicide back to back, and it kind of messed me up.
Mm-hmm.
But I did manage to get my GED 12 when I was 18, so.
Yeah.
I should have stayed in school.
I thought you took some sort of business administration.
Oh,
Or was
before that, I was going to be an RCMP special constable. But I needed my grade 12. And that's when I took my GED.
Yeah.
Me and Herman were the only ones to get our grade 12
Yeah.
out of 150 people.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't even study for it. They went through a course,
Yeah.
like 2 months to study for the test. And me, I had to get mine done right away. So they rushed me and let me take the test with that class.
Yeah.
And only me and Herman got our grade 12s.
Wow.
I thought that was neat. Oh, there's a cat over there.
We'll look for it. So in your own words, can you explain the history of Muscadet? Like, what was it like, and were there good stuff, bad stuff?
Well, what I was told was our family was one of the richer families on Muscadet when my grandfather was alive. Like, we had a big farm, we had cows, pigs, chickens, horses. Yeah, we had lots. But after my grandfather passed away, his sons went nuts and sold everything and drank up everything. Yeah, so all I remember is chickens. The cows and horses were already gone.
So they basically left Granny with nothing?
Yep.
It's when she lived in the blue and white house, right?
Yep.
How old was he when he passed away? Was it early? Was it later?
When who passed away?
Your grandpa.
I don't know. It was before I was born.
Mm.
Yeah, so I just got to see the last bit of the farm.
Yeah.
I knew we had horses because we had stables. And I knew we had cows too because Ron told me.
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember is all them stupid chickens. Boy, Boy, Grandma had lots of chickens. They were everywhere. They always just attacked me. They just freaked me out. Yeah, she'd always carry around that little stick just to defend me.
She always used to wear skirts, hey?
Yeah.
Never pants or nothing.
Remember that little beret she used to wear?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. All them old ladies used to wear that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was wondering, like, maybe that was the style back in their day. I don't know. But yeah, all the old women used to wear hats like that when I was small.
Hmm.
I remember old Mina. She only had one leg. That's how I remember her.
Yeah.
Because that was the first person I've ever seen with one leg.
Yeah.
And she had a little hat like that too. Who else?
So, but Mina was Granny's sister?
I'm not sure.
'Cause I remember my grandma Evelyn calling her Auntie Mina.
Yeah.
So I think so,
yeah.
eh?
My dad used to call her Auntie Mina.
Maybe that was her sister.
Maybe. Like she was a bear before, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't know any of Granny's siblings. I don't know any of them. The knights are always telling me, we're related, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always tell me we're related.
Somehow, yeah. There's the Knights. And who else? Joe Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That family that way. And there's people, you know, Sam Gerard is really good at that family history thing. So she could probably trace it back, like, you know, should people ever want to find out who's who, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know how many grandparents before, you know, the first chief.
yeah,
Like, I wonder how many generations.
because I know we come from there too.
Yeah.
Our family line, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Sam would have a good idea of how that works too. Because I think maybe there's my grandma Evelyn, and then there was Granny, and then there was, I think it could have been Robert and Julia Bear. And then, I don't know, for me it's muddled too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's another thing we have to investigate is family trees. Would be good, eh?
But this reserve was so small, just like everybody was related, you know. Boy, there's a lot of women from Sandy Lake that got married onto here.
Yeah, there is.
That freaked me out. I was just thinking about that. Me and my wife were talking about that. Yeah, there is quite a bit of women. I think,
There's Liza Crane.
yeah. That Violet, she just passed away. Wendy's mom. You know that Wendy.
Oh.
That other one that used to work with Connie in finance.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name. Violet Pete.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's from there.
Yeah.
I think the Vandales came from Sandy Lake. Yeah, there's lots of them.
Yeah. Wow. So I got one more question for you. What important message do you want to share with our future generations about education? Now keep in mind, your grandkids, your great grandkids, your family is going to see this video. So this is like your chance to, you know, send off a message for their future, because they're going to see it down the road, right? It's sort of like a legacy video, if you will.
I remember my first days of school, I thought it was right on. I got to meet these other kids that were my own age, and I started making friends. And school was a lot better than what I had to go to home to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just dreaded going home when the day was done. Growing up, school was easy for me
Yeah.
until I came back home after all of the residence and foster homes. When I finally came back home, I just wanted to be with my family, and school wasn't important anymore.
Yeah.
And when I got back to town, everything was easy. Like the schoolwork in town, it was easy. I already knew stuff that they were trying to teach me. I already knew it, and I started sloughing off, I guess. And just kept on going. I wish I could have. I've had so many good people tell me or try to help me, to stay in school. And I guess they seen something in me that I could have been somebody. And no, alcohol got to me too. Yeah, just like my mom and dad. My mom's dad was an alcoholic too. So it runs in our family pretty good. If I've done so many courses, I can't even remember everything I've taken. You were talking about that business admin.
Yep.
I started that course with the old chief there. What's her name? Bear.
Austin?
No.
Ava Bear.
Ava Bear, yeah.
Yeah.
We took that course together.
Yeah.
And I got sick. I was in my first marriage.
Yeah.
And I got sick. I got pneumonia, and I couldn't come to school. So I missed about 2 weeks. Then I finally went back to school, and there was no possible way I could catch up.
Yeah.
So they just said, come back next semester, and I did something else. I don't know, heavy equipment or something.
Yeah.
So I never did go back. I should have. I could have been chief, just like Eva. Yeah. Well, that's weird, eh? I got my grade 12 with Herman, who was chief.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took that business admin course with Ava, who was chief.
Yeah.
See, if I would have stayed in school, if I would have continued my education, I think my family would have been a lot better off. I would have been taught how to handle things better.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one taught me how to discipline my kids.
Yeah.
The way I got disciplined wasn't right.
Yeah.
And I would never do that to my kids. And the way they grew up, they got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's how everybody treats their kids now. Like they don't. When I was bad, I got hit. I got, the strap. And you knew not to do that again. But now, parents don't discipline their kids. And now they're going crazy. I'd say to my future generations, get all the education you can get. If you want to take care of your family, if you love your family, get everything you can get. Because in the end, it'll be easier for everybody if you love them, yeah. If you want to take the hard way, well, you can do that too, but it's not very fun. When people ask me, how are you? I say, surviving. That's how I feel. I should be making like $45 an hour, but I'm only making 18. So, yeah, everything would have been a lot easier for me right now, at my age.
How old are you?
I'm 59, I'll be 60 this year.
Oh, pretty soon you'll be at the lodge.
Yeah, so 5 more years. Yeah. this place, I'll be ruling this place.
Yeah, that's awesome. You got any last words to share? About anything you want.
Stay in school. And do what's right. Don't do what everybody else does. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you so much for your interview. I really appreciated it. Thank you for sharing everything with us, and thank you for taking me down your memory lane of what our family was like, and especially Granny. You know, the backbone, seemingly so, right?
Yeah.
Right.